Lieutenant Russ, he said yesterday in the panel that when they did the episode where Tuvok and Neelix got mixed together in the Tuvok's character, that there was some discussion of whether it would be him or you to play the character, and that he thought it was better that you played it. Was that an interesting experience for you to play some of Tuvok's characteristics in with yours?
Well, I never played the character. That was an actor named Tom Wright. Well, you probably remember. You best remembered as. Do you remember Seinfeld? Seinfeld's boss or George's boss used to cut Snickers with a fork and knife. Oh. Remember that kid? That's Tom Wright. Oh. And Tom and I have known each other years. We did a play called Miss Evers Boys down in Baltimore about the Tuskegee experiments, the syphilis experiments on black guys down in Alabama in the 40s. Tom is a brilliant actor. He came to the set and he hung out with Tim and I and watched our work, and then he did, I thought, a tremendous job of combining the elements of each of us. But there was talk at one point of me possibly playing that character, and I did meet with the producers about that, but they decided at the last minute to give it to a different actor. It's the example, the only execution, I think, ever on Star Trek. Somebody said that to me. I don't know if that's a fact, but I'm glad they executed it, because if they didn't, I would have been out of a job for 4 years or whatever. But I think it's a great show, you know. There were some shows that were just terrific, and that was one of them. I love Tuvix. Yeah, way in the back, sir.
Was it harder or easier to act with all the makeup on? Did that help you, or was it a big problem?
You know, it doesn't. I never noticed a difference, you know, in terms of your ability to act or pretend, you know. The only problem was that you were hot all the time, and you were warm, and you were tired a lot of the time because you got up so early and you couldn't sleep in the makeup. Really, it was really difficult. I had thick contact lenses on, and it would stick to anything that you would lean against. So you were really, I mean, you were kind of encapsulated in this head. So you were real tired a lot, and that was, you know, you had to perk yourself up, have some coffee, and go at it, you know. And the other guys, usually in between their scenes, they just crash out, you know, and they got there at a normal time and stuff. And so it had that kind of arduous overtone to it. But in terms of actually acting in a mask, the mask does a lot of the work for you in terms of, I didn't have to worry about being an alien. I mean, in the first the first season, I thought, oh, I'll do some alien behavior. You know, I tried to come up with some alien gestures. And I remember the first time they gave Neelix something to eat, I decided, well, I won't use my hands. He just eats right with his mouth. So like that. And they said, no. And every time I would do that, they'd say, no, he's just a regular guy. So I'd say, okay. So they just, I guess that's the Star Trek thing. No matter what we look like, we're all one. And they wanted the humanity in him more than anything too alien. So then I realized, okay, I just play whoever this fella is and let the mask do the work. But there was a certain mobility to the face too, so you had the freedom to kind of move around like that. But yeah, it was just the fatigue element and the heat that made it more difficult. Yes?
So how long was your work day then? Because it sounds like it was really a lot difficult.
Well, it could be really long. I mean, my record was 21 hours on the set. But on average, I was there probably about 14 hours, sometimes 15 hours was a normal day. But I didn't work every day. I mean, if I had an episode that was all about me, then it was really, really tough. And that's one of the reasons they didn't give Neelix a whole ton of episodes, because it was just too tough on the actor. And you just couldn't, I mean, after 7 or 8 days of, you know, 15, 16-hour days, in that makeup, you were smashed. You were wrecked. You know, you needed time to recover. And, you know, I wasn't a really young man, you know, so, but I would work a couple of days and then I'd have a couple of days off, you know. So it wasn't that bad. And they paid you well, you know, so it wasn't like I wasn't complaining. You know. Yes, sir.
On a rare occasion, when actors who have worked together before, where they were series regulars before, and everybody, the public, knows that they were a pair, they happen to work together in one episode of a future series. On a rare occasion, Hollywood allows them to do something that's a little wink to the audience. I think one happened with Archer and a character played by Dean Stockwell in an Enterprise episode. You've been in so many things. Have you ever had that opportunity?
No, I tried to create the opportunity once on Star Trek. It's an interesting question. I forget the episode, but we were somehow monitoring San Francisco. Does this ring a bell? And Neelix and Kess are responsible for looking at the airwaves coming out of San Francisco. And my very first job on television was an episode of The Doctors. It was a soap opera. And I was like, in my 20s, and I had a line. We were in, I forget where the hell we were, but I remember saying to this lady, she said, Billy got Maggie pregnant. And my line was, gosh, is Billy going to marry her? And that was the first line I ever spoke on television, is Billy going to marry her? So I said to the writers, this would just be a nod to myself, but let's say Kess and Neelix are monitoring the airwaves coming out of San Francisco. What if Neelix got into this soap opera? And he was really into it. And they said, that's kind of funny. And I said, he should have this line. Turning to Kess at one point, do you think Billy will marry her? It was just a wink to myself. Nobody else would have gotten it, but they never did it. What are you gonna do? Hey.
I have two questions. What was it like working with like the Borg and stuff? I know they're just actors and stuff. Creepy and Drury off the set and stuff as they were on the set.
Were they as creepy on the set? No. It was just actors and rubber. You'd think they would be, you'd think.
Yeah.
But it was like that experience I had in that horror film, It's kind of silly, They walk out and everything is just fake. And, you just talk to them and stuff, and when they say action, yeah, then they're Borg, but no, you don't get, I mean, there are some actors who really get into their part and they don't leave it off when they're not filming, they kind of stay in character, and if that's the way they have to work, that's the way I have to work. I respect that, but that always freaks me out a little bit,
You did the video game, Elite Force, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, was that just like playing on the show, doing the voiceovers and stuff?
Yeah, those video games are hard. They put you in a little booth and they give you the dialogue, and it's like hours and hours of saying the same stuff over and over again until they get the right take. And they're real boring and they're hard on your voice and stuff. It's not as much fun as being on a set, Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hi. I actually became a Voyager fan many years after it went off the air by watching it on DVD. And I was just curious, have you, since Voyager's come out on DVD, have you seen a renewed interest in the show, and are you seeing more fans contact you?
No, I don't know. No, I don't know. No, I don't know.
Well, when I go online, I feel like Voyager fandom is still very active.
Is it?
I feel like that's my personal opinion, and so I have found other people similar to me who didn't get a chance to watch Voyager when it aired, but later on through DVD became really huge fans of the show.
Yeah, I don't really get, I get fan mail comes to my house. They get my address on the internet. If I get any fan mail in my house, I throw it away. I just don't answer fan mail that comes to my house. But if somebody sends fan mail to my agent, they forward it on to me, and I answer that. And a lot of fan mail goes to Paramount. Most of it goes to Paramount, and they don't give it to us. So I have no idea how many fans are watching it. And I don't monitor it on the internet. But you run into people all the time that see it. It was a group of people that watch. A certain group of people watch science fiction, and they're unto themselves. It bleeds over a little bit, But for the most part, the guys that watch and the girls that watch Voyager are not the same ones that watch, King of the Hill, for the most part. But they do bleed over, But I can't tell, what kind of jump it had when it's been in reruns for a couple of years. I think it has another couple of months, I think, on Spike TV, and then I think it'll be dead for a while. They'll probably put it on again in another 10 years,